Hey guys, how's it going? Robert Warshak here, and this is going to be a continuation from our previous, legendary class disenchant guide where we talked about individual classes and the legendaries that fall into those. This is going to be our neutral legendary guide because I just wanted to break it up. They're really long videos, so I figured if you're looking for one or the other, this would be a really good way for you to kind of categorize them. Also, we just got done paintballing yesterday, so I'm kind of dying. I feel like I got hit by a small minibus. My dad's like, "Rob, you're not 18, you're not 20 anymore. Oh, you can't be out there jumping and hooliganing around." And I'm like, "Dad, I got this. Force, momentum, speed. This is what I'm built for." I go out there, I got wrecked. So I'm hurting today, but it's okay. We had a blast playing. But if I don't have the energy I had in our first video, I apologize, but I do feel I got wrecked. My body aches. It hurts me bad. 2 mana, Blood Mage Thanos. I actually recorded this before and I said Thanos, but Blood Mage Thanos. 2 mana, 1/1 spell damage +1 death rattle draw a card. It's a really good card. It's part of the basic set, and it's been a legendary that we see in a variety of different decks over time because it's neutral. The ability to give spell damage +1 is normally pretty good, and then the draw a card is really good. So it's a combination of like a Loot Hoarder and a Nobold. I forgot what his name is. He's like a 2 mana 2/2 spell power +1. But he's a combination of 2 cards, or she's a combination of 2 cards. And overall, I would not disenchant. It's fit into many decks over the time, and I'm sure it's going to continue to fit into decks as more cards get released. So definitely craft if you're interested in this card, and definitely don't disenchant if you have it. Lore Walker Show is just a meme. It's never been a serious card. You can play it if you want because it's just more of a fun card than anything. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a copy of that into the other player's hand, so it can go like back and forth where neither players are playing spells or one of them's playing spells. But this is a safe disenchant. The card sucks. Millhouse Manastorm absolutely sucks. 2 mana 4/4. You're like, ooh, and then battle cry enemy. Spells cost 0 for the next turn, so they just start popping off. Like, play this against Druid and they UI you on turn 1, so don't do that. Not Peggle. This guy actually used to be really good, and he was played in almost every single deck, and then they nerfed him, but that was a really long time ago. It used to be at the end of your turn, you have a 50% chance to draw a card, and then they changed it to the start of your turn, so he doesn't see play anymore at all. They could probably revert him back, and he still would maybe see play in niche decks, maybe combo decks, but overall, he's not good. Definitely a safe disenchant. Prince, this is one of those guys that fits into decks specifically built around him, considering you can't have any other 2-drop cards in those decks. So if you think about it, it's like Zoo, Death Rattle Hunter, some Rush Warriors are playing him now. Is that it? Is that really all the classes that are playing? It's Zoo, Death Rattle, Rush Warrior, which is like way off. I know I'm missing like 1 or 2 here. But yeah, there's just quite a few decks, and they're really good. Oh, Odd Rogue. No, I'm retarded. All right, bloop that out. I'm actually not going to bloop that out. But anyway, Odd Rogue. But seriously, though, he's a great card. I don't like him. He's rotating soon. But if you don't have him and you want to play, the Prince decks, it's really, really powerful. But if you have no intention of playing, Prince decks, he's a good safe disenchant. King Maluska is a safe disenchant too. He's sometimes seen play in like aggro paladin a long time ago, and maybe like a aggro hunter, but he's not a staple in those decks, and he's safe disenchant. Prince, this is a card that was originally seen play in a cube a while back, and then stopped seeing play in cube, and now he's kind of seeing play in cube warlock again. So if you like cube warlock, this is a really pretty solid card for you to throw in Cube Warlock. But if you don't have Cube Warlock and you have this legendary and you're never going to play Cube Warlock, it's a pretty safe disenchant because he really only fit well into the Cube Warlock. So your information there. Tickmaster Overspark. He obviously he's going to be a really safe disenchant because no one plays him. He's not really any important card in any deck. But keep in mind, if you do like playing decks like Control Warrior and things of that nature, having the transform ability in those decks is really nice in a meta like this because everybody's playing Death Rattle stuff. So more times than not, I've been playing this in my Control Warrior. They cube into something. They know that you don't have they assume that you don't have a silence. And then you can go ahead and transform it into something else. So you can run like 2 Iron Beak Owls and Tickmaster Overspark, and you can use it against, at that time I was also using it against Taunt Druid, because Warrior has no way to give them a beast like Mage or Hex. They have ways to transform the minions into beasts, while this guy gives warriors a way to transform the enemy minions into beasts. So when they use their witching hour, there's a chance they're going to summon a 5/5 devil store or a 1/1 squirrel. So he's actually not as bad as he looks. I thoroughly enjoy this card. But again, if you're a free-to-play player, control warrior is not the first thing you're going to build, but he's not as bad as he looks. So there's a note there. Zola. Again, this fits into very particular decks. Currently, it mostly fits into the Quest Rogue and the OTK Paladin with the 4 Horsemen. I don't really recommend disenchanting this just because of how good she is. I mean, she's found, you can play her in almost any control deck and she's going to be a really good card. She's not really found in any aggressive base decks just because the game is, you want to end the game more than getting value, and she's just for value. So, I mean, she's also found in Control Warrior to duplicate the Direhorn Hatchling. So I mean, she's a lot of good uses for Zola, and yeah, if you like control decks, you'll like Zola. If you mainly play aggro decks, you don't need her, but I would hold on to her. Arphasis is a safe disenchant. You don't need this card at all. I didn't even know this guy was in the game, to be honest. I totally forgot this legendary came with the new set, but if I don't have him and I've never seen him played, you don't need him. Heartbringer Celestia, she just sucks. She's horrible. Like, the ones I don't even go into any detail about are cards that I've literally never seen play ever, so I can't even give you any information other than it's just bad. Prince, this was played in Miracle Rogue a long time ago. In Odd Rogue? No. Why do I keep saying Odd Rogue? It's not Odd Rogue, Rob. All the rogues to me are just Odd Rogues now because it's the only rogue you ever see. Now, it was played, I'm pretty sure, Miracle Rogue before the spiders came out. That's what I was thinking about. Yes, before the Striders came out, Prince was a way that Miracle could heal for a little bit and put like a taunt in the deck, I believe, if I'm correct. Or was it the Prince Rogue? Either way, the card doesn't see play at all. You can disenchant it. Umbra is actually a really cool card and a really good card right now, especially with Cube running around. So you can play her in any Death Rattle deck you want to play, and she's going to be super powerful. You can even play her in a non-Death Rattle deck just to make your opponent waste resources to kill her, because she's that powerful. As soon as you play this card, your opponent is going to try to kill this immediately just because of how good it is. So whether you're playing, your Death Rattle Egg Paladin, Death Rattle Hunter, Cube Warlock, Death Rattle Rogue, she's just a really good card. So I don't really recommend disenchanting her if you love Death Rattle decks. If you have no intention of playing Death Rattle decks, then obviously she's a safe disenchant. The Darkness is just a meme unless you're my opponent and then they play Darkness against me, and then I draw all 3 candles the following turn. If anybody saw that highlight, have fucking mercy. I think that was the tip of my most unluckiness ever. And then I Shadow Visions twice and I couldn't find a Shadow Word Death. It was horrible. But yeah, safe disenchant. This guy's a safe disenchant too. Pinata, why is that? Oh, because it's the legendary. I was gonna say this is an epic card, but since it has legendary in the name. Whizbang, I'm pretty sure they didn't even update his deck recipes, so this is a safe disenchant if you have him. If you're a free-to-play account, I guess you could keep him in there just to like play with all kinds of decks, you know what I mean, and the decks you play with. No offense, Blizzard makes some pretty fucking horrible deck recipes. Like, they're awful. Like, there's some of them that are like borderline acceptable, but a lot of them are some of the worst. Like, you could play this game for 2 weeks and build a better deck than the deck recipes in this game. So, like, as cool as Whizbang is, I just wish the decks were actually good. Like, there's cards in some of these decks that are they actually hurt the deck by them being in the deck rather than just take the deck out and just not even have that card there. So I'm really disappointed in the sense that the deck recipes are there and they're just horrible. Like, deck recipes are cool, but they should be like, they don't need to be tier 1 decks, but they should at least, all the cards in the deck be semi good or at least synergize well together. But whatever, dude. Whatever, Blizzard, small indie companies. Captain Greenskin. In my opinion, I like this card. I've played him in quite a few of my decks, and yeah, I would definitely keep a hold on to him. Plus, he's part of the core set, so can't really go wrong with keeping any legendary from the core set unless it's one that we didn't even discuss. Dollmaster, a couple people tried to make this guy work, and it's more of just like an RNG kind of thing where it's just like you're paying 5 mana for 2 sticks, and then whenever you draw a minion, you summon a 1/1 copy of it. So if you don't summon if you're not drawing your minions, you're not summoning anything. And it's like, if you do summon it, it has to be like, you know what I mean, a minion that has like a really good death rattle effect or like something like that. So it's just more of like he is a cool effect, but he's not very good. He's never seen play. Elise is found into some control decks at the moment. Even control mage, she was mostly played in like control warrior and control mage, and even in those two decks, she's not necessarily a staple. So if you're a newer player and you have Elise, you don't really need this card. Like, for example, if you want to run Tempo Mage and you have Elise, I would much rather this be disenchanted and you get 2 primordial glyphs than running in Elise, because she's not a staple in those decks, and 2 primordial glyphs are a staple in the other deck that you do want to build. So just, you got to do a little research, guys, figure out what decks you want to build and then focus around building those decks. You can't just, you know what I mean, there's no easy way out of making a really nice collection if you're being free to play without doing a little bit of work on your end. Harrison Jones, definitely I like keeping this guy. He's very dependent on the meta if there's a lot of weapons, and right now I feel like there is a sizable amount of weapons. Warlocks run weapons, Paladins run weapons, or Hunters run weapons, rogues have weapons, and all of those classes are really popular right now. So good keep. Leroy Jenkins is always a good keep. He's part of the classic set. I don't like this card at all. I think it's going to get Hall of Famed for sure. But until it does, obviously, it fits into any aggressive deck. Subject 9, I still haven't crafted this card. I'm very stubborn. We were playing a Secret Hunter, and I still didn't have Subject 9 in the deck. The deck did exceedingly well. I think we won like, I don't know, we had like a 70-80% win rate with our Secret Hunter without Subject 9. And I refuse to admit defeat on this one. So for those of you who know that joke, you got it. But yeah, this is a really, really, really good card right now. So if you like Secret Hunter, Subject 9's your dude. It's like the reason you play, like, there's 2 main hunters, right? You have the no minion hunter, and then you have the Secret Hunter. And the only reason you play Secret Hunter is this guy. If this guy didn't exist, then this Secret Hunter wouldn't be a thing, because this guy is he's drawing 5 cards is very good. Ziliax is a really nice card. It's probably one of the most played, if not the most played card from Boomsday, besides the whatever the inventor guy was. But then it got nerfed and no one plays the card anymore. I can't even think of the name of it, but it's summoned to Noyotrons. So yeah, Ziliax really good, safecraft. Karen, again, part of the classic set. I don't really recommend disenchanting him, just because depending on the meta, he does see play. Plus, you can really throw him in. If you're a new player and you throw this into any one of your decks, he's still a good card. When you play this card, he's good no matter what. There's no RNG to this card. You play him and he's good. So Greymane, definitely a solid card. He makes even decks. Same with Baku. He makes odd decks. So I don't recommend. Hemet, he only fits right now into Mechathune Priest. So if you have no intention of playing Mechathune Priest, you can disenchant this guy. But if you love Mechathune Priest, then you keep this guy. Hogger, he's always our first legendary. He's not here. It's a safe disenchant. You don't need him. Illidan, safe disenchant. You don't need him. Mojo Master is a tech card versus combo decks. So if you're a hefty control player and you're playing like control warrior, not odd, control mage, any sort of control deck, basically you play this card when you know they're gonna do their combo, and it sets them back anywhere between 2 to 3 turns. So I personally would hold on to this card for now, because if there's more combo decks that pop up with the new expansions, this guy is going to be a really nice card for that. And if you disenchant him now and this ends up being a really good anti-combo stopper, then you're gonna kick yourself. So I'd hold on to this card until we see at least the next expansion and a little bit into it, and see how prominent combo decks are. The Beast is a safe disenchant, don't worry about him. Safe disenchant, obviously I don't have him. The Black Knight, definitely a keep. Again, dependent on the meta. Taunt Druids popped up and they were a huge part of ladder. Everybody teched in Black Knight, and guess what happened? They went down a little bit. They didn't totally disappear, but Black Knight's just a really solid tech card right now. And it normally is at the beginning of every expansion. Soul Thief, this is a card that saw play with the Togwaggle Druid, but also some warriors played it. And some mages played it, but right now it is no longer a staple in any deck, because Druid's not a thing anymore. So pretty safe disenchant. You can hold on to her if you want, but I don't see her popping back up, to be honest. You also could play her in your warrior to tech against like Rin, playing in like mage decks, and then you copy their Ren portal, and then you just destroy your opponent's deck as well. It's a good hedge against that. But besides that, that very niche matchup doesn't see play. Baron, definitely a keep. He's part of the basic set. He's a good card in general, and then especially he's good in any sort of control deck. He used to be played in Control Warrior. He's currently found in Control Mage, and those are the only 2 decks he's really found in at the moment, but he's just part of the core set. He's a good card to just have. Countless Ashmore, I don't see her in any deck ever at all. The only thing I've seen her in one deck once, and it was like a rush-ish warrior. So besides that, you don't need her. I have a golden one too. Oh, I didn't. Okay, so I just have a golden one of her. Okay, gotcha. The Undertaker. This guy was found in the Endless Taunt Druid, where this guy would gain the effect of the Spectral Tiger, Hadronox, and all that good stuff, and then they would just keep killing Undertaker, and then keep doing what Hadronox does without the what is it called, the Witching Hour. So there's that version, but besides that, he also sometimes sees play in some form of Paladin deck, but I actually haven't seen that Paladin deck at all. I've only seen the Druid deck, and ever since the Druid nerfs, I haven't seen this card at all. So maybe you should hang on for this one. I'm really not sure on, because I just haven't seen him being played, but he was played a lot. So it's weird because he was played a shit ton, like a lot, and then he went to being played 0 after Druid got nerfs. So this could be just like, you know, maybe the next expansion comes out and this guy, you know, pops back up. So I'd hold on to this guy, just because honestly I have no idea. Gruul, this is a safe disenchant, doesn't really fit in any deck. I mean, he's a good card kind of when you play him, but he's too easy to kill. Togwaggle was found in Togwaggle Druid. Hey Rob, is Togwaggle Druid still good? Yes, I think all of the Druid decks are still very good. It's just no one's playing them because they're just not as good. People want to play the easiest, best deck to play. Currently, those decks are Even Paladin, Odd Paladin, and I think it's the OTK Paladin, but maybe not the OTK Paladin. There's an Odd Rogue. That's what I'm thinking of. Always Odd Rogue. So now that, you know, Druid took the Wild Growth nerf and the Nourish nerf, you know, the Druid stepped down, Hunter moved up, you know, Even Paladin, Odd Paladin moved even higher because Spreading Plague isn't a thing anymore. And so, yeah, but if you still want to play your Togwaggle Druid, the deck is still good, guys. You still win the same way. It's just you don't get there 3 turns before your opponent. Lich King is a very good card. Definitely hold on to him. Very solid. Keep in mind he is rotating with the next expansion though. So yeah, keep in mind, I didn't mention this in this video. I mentioned it a lot in the class legendary one, but all of the Journey to Ungoro, Nobolds, and Frozen Throne will be cycling out at the beginning, the first expansion of the new year, which is sometime in like January, February, March, April. Somewhere in March and April. Can't believe I had to count that out again. Alexstrasza, really good card, part of the classic set. Definitely keep her and or craft her if you like her. She fits into a lot of different dragon decks. She fits in Control Mage. She sometimes fits into some niche warrior decks. She fits into a lot of priest decks. She's just a really good card. Fits into druid decks. Really, really good stuff. Bakuf makes odd decks. He's going to be around for a while. He's a really, really powerful card and makes a lot of really powerful decks. Malygos, definitely a hard keep. He's a great card. Fits into, again, a lot of different decks that do a lot of different cool stuff. Resurrect Priest, Malygos, Rogue. Sometimes fits into some mage decks every once in a while. Fits into druid. Just a good card. Master Oakheart is really only seeing play in the Taunt Druid. And he's a good card in that one specific deck. So I don't want to tell you to disenchant him or craft him because, you know, if you like Taunt Druid, it is still a good deck in my opinion. So. Nozdormu, safe disenchant, this card sucks. Onyxia, safe disenchant, this card sucks. Undasta, I actually thought this card was going to suck. A lot of players are playing this card a lot, so it's a pretty safe keep. Just the fact that you're able to play a 9/7/7 rush and then pull like a King Crush from your hand, a Grizzly, a Charge Devil, Soar. I mean, the list goes on. Everybody's playing. Every hunter and their fucking mom with Death Rattle Hunter is playing this card. I've even seen other decks. What was it? It was like an Odd Rogue was playing this card just to summon Baku. So Osrook, this card is absolutely asshole. I wish they would have gave elementals a really good, like, cool heavy drop, but they gave elemental decks fucking poop. Ysera, fantastic. I love Ysera. I've always loved Ysera. She looks, her golden animation. Do I have a golden one? I better have. I don't even have a golden one. Anyway, her animation is really cool golden, but that's not the only reason. She's just a really solid card in general. She doesn't really see play. She's not a staple in any particular deck right now, but overall, she's just a really solid card, and I think her power level will go up when the next rotation occurs. Deathwing, you can disenchant him. Hakar, it only fits into Hakar, Togwaggle, Druid, and if you like Brothers Rob, there's like a Paladin one and all kinds of, that's fun. I've never seen one. The main one that you're gonna see is the Druid one with Togwaggle, and there's no reason to have this card in the deck because Togwaggle does exactly the same thing. You basically Togwaggle and you do this at the same time and you kill them that turn instead of them conceding the turn after just because you stole their entire deck. So you're playing a pointless card in your deck that sits in your hand just to kill them one turn sooner. And granted, yes, it's really cool and it's fun, so you can do it in that fashion, but if you're a free-to-play player and you can't afford to craft an extra legendary, you don't need this in your Togwaggle Druid to do exactly what Togwaggle Druid does. It does the same thing without this card. And then Mechathune, again, if you really like the Mecha, you can build a lot. Every class almost, you can play some sort of Mechathune combo and win. You know, with right now the most powerful, in my opinion, is being the Priest and the Druids, shortly followed by the Warlock. But yeah, the Priest and the Druid Mechathune decks are really, really solid in my opinion. They do really well against almost any other controller combo deck, just because of how fast they cycle. And then a Warlock shortly follows that, just because the Warlock has to tap through their whole deck, and while the Priest has, you know, the Hemet, and then the Druid has just Auctioneers and Massives. I've drawn like 14 cards in one turn with our Druid Mechathune deck. It's absurd. So, yeah, if you like Mechathune, safe craft. If not, safe disenchant. So with that, that wraps up our neutral legendary disenchant guide. If you have anything to add on to what I've said or mentioned, feel free to do that. Feel free to do that in the comment section below. I always look forward to reading what you guys have to say. And also, some of you write some funny ass stuff just because you're so wrong. But a lot of you guys are really right. But some of you guys are like, I played Deathwing in my Battle Even Shaman, and it's such a surprise. I'm just like, oh, geez. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and happy whatever the hell day it is.